Hello everyone and welcome back to the vlog. Today's episode is going to be the story thus far. So let's see. I was born in 1983. I've lived most of my life in Norway. In high school I opted to do vocational studies, and I studied applied electrical engineering, electronics and programming during my 3 years of high school. Following a year in the Navy and another year volunteering in Israel, I returned to Oslo and worked as an apprentice for a year and a half, at the end of which I sat an exam leading to a craft certificate, or fagbrev, as an IT support technician. Leaving my apprenticeship to pursue employment elsewhere, I found my way barred through a lack of formal qualifications. In the most extreme example, I was pitched as the second option to fill a position demanding experience in IT support, experience with the military and their IT systems, security clearance, and a bachelor's degree. Now, when they realized that I did not have that degree, the interviewers grew very quiet indeed, which I took to mean that they hadn't read my resume. There were other signs as well. At any rate, the candidate who ultimately got the job had not served in the military. He had no experience with IT support, and he did not hold a security clearance. In fact, the only part of the brief he did match was the requirement for a bachelor's degree. And as it turned out, his was in English linguistics. Now, this was the most extreme example, but I would often find my way barred through a lack of formal qualifications, sometimes getting through to the final interview, and sometimes not even getting called for an initial interview. The job market in Norway being what it is, I didn't have any problems finding work, but I did start thinking about pursuing a degree pretty soon after leaving my apprenticeship. Particularly because most of my friends were pursuing theirs and ultimately finished them in various fields. As some of my friends will attest, I talked about it on and off until 2012, when my oldest daughter, Sarah, was born. With that birth, I saw an opportunity to go at the degree, and so I did. I eventually decided on doing the degree with the Open University due to two factors. First off, they have a very flexible attitude to degree composition. And second, most of their modules can be completed online through assignments and exams, meaning that I can study on my own time, not when a lecture was set. And that was key to me because I have been pursuing the degree in parallel with working with various employers. A quick look at my bookshelf will show you a lot of the books that I've been using for my studies. Here are the books for my first module, TU 100. Here's B120, that's a business module, T215, and here's T353, which is the module I recently sat an exam for. Now, as you can see, and this is just a small selection, I've accrued a fair number of books throughout my studies with the OU. However, one book that I found to be particularly useful in preparing to study with the OU was this guy. The Good Study Guide by Andrew Northridge, and published by, as you can see, the Open University. I went through it in preparation for my first module, TU 100, and what it did for me was it helped me assess where I was in life, what skills I had, what skills I would need to develop through my studies, and it was just generally very useful to my preparations. It's a book that I've returned to a fair bit, and as you can see, I mean, there are markings just all over this book, and it's been a very, very good book to have and to return to. I have a review of it on my website, and you'll find a link to that in the description. I'll also add information about all of the modules that I've studied so far in the description. So that should give you an overview of what I've been doing study-wise. When looking at the modules I've studied, keep in mind this isn't intended to be taken as a definitive pathway. In fact, I don't think you'll find it on the guideline pathways of the OU. However, it is the pathway that I've found to work for me. I'll talk in a later episode about what modules I've chosen, why I've chosen them, and the rationale behind my journey as a student, and more broadly my journey to broaden my candidate profile as a candidate for any position. At any rate, I feel we've covered a fair bit of information today, and I'm not going to keep you any longer. If there's anything you're wondering, please feel free to pop me a question down there in the comment section. Please also subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video if you found this to be useful. Have a nice evening, and thank you very much.